So hello world, welcome to another tutorial, and in this one I will be teaching you how to use the options button. So it will be a fairly short tutorial, so yeah, let's just get to the tutorial. So what I'll just put in here, of course, what I have in the scene or in the project currently is my control node, a panel node which acts like the background, and the center container for putting the options button at the center. So I'll just put as a child of the center container our options button. Then I'll come here to the layout and I will change the minimum size of the minimum width of the options button to something like 200 so that it's wider. And then yeah, we can now get to adding items to the button. So the first method for adding items to the button is to come here to items. Then you can just press something like, you can write something like apples. Like let's just say we're selecting fruits, so apples. And then you can add in something like a banana. And you can add in something like maybe grapes. You can also move this around by pressing the button. So for example, if I have my apples here, if I press down, you can see that apple has become the second index. Let's just run the scene. You can notice that the apple might be index 1 still, but it is using the ID tag here, so you can just move them around and swap them, but the IDs really won't change. So you can just put this back in place so that it can be in order. We can also add in icons to our items by just dragging the icon, for example, to this, and you'll notice that this changed shape to accommodate the icon. Also, one thing we can also do is to change to also give the button a defaultly selected item by pressing this selected option over here. So let's change it to 0. And now you can see that we have our Apple button and it has its icon. So if we run the scene, we will be able to see that it has an icon. So we can close that. So we can just remove the icon because it looks ugly currently in the scene. So we have our default selected items and we have a few items. Using this one, we use this one maybe when you have like a limited number of items, but you can also add items programmatically when you want a huge list. And that's the method we're going to use right now. So I'll just come here to the control node, add a script, and then I will just say, just come here to function ready, and then I'll just say option button dot add item, and then we can add maybe something like kiwi. And then when we run the scene, we can see that kiwi has been added to the list. We can also remove items doing this using the option button dot remove item. So if you remove something like index 0, which is apples, when we run the scene again, we will notice that there is no apple, but there's also no default selected item. So if we want to return that, there are actually two ways that we can do that. So we can just write option button dot select. We can use this function, so we'll just select the first item again, which will be bananas because we removed apple, so index 0 has become banana. Or we can also do this, just comment this out using control / and then I'll just write option button dot selected is equal to 0. So once we do that, it will just have basically the same effect as selecting 0. So I can also change this to maybe something like 2 or 1 or whatever you might want. So yeah, we can just delete this. We can just delete this comment for removing stuff. So what we want to do now is to actually be able to do stuff with the option button, because now we just can put items and remove items. But what if you want to do stuff with the button? So for that, we'll just come here to the option button and click it. Then we will take our item selected signal from the button. Then we'll just connect it to the script. So on the option button pressed, we can do two things. We can take the index of the item that is pressed, or we can take the name that the item has. So for example, we just do this. So print, when we select an item on the option button, we can do this. The selected item is index. Then we can spread that, and then we can put in plus the string of the index. Then what we can also do is come here, and then we can write selected item's name is, then we can write in option, we can select our option button again, and then we'll take its text. So what the first one will do, it will just take the index of the selected item, and the second one will give us the name that has been put in the item. So you can use if statements to make this more complex, maybe if index is this, or if the name of the item that has been selected is that. But for this tutorial, we'll just stick to this. So once we run the scene, we can be able to use our option button to do stuff. So I'll just come here, and then when I select banana, we can see that the selected item is index 1 and the item's name is banana. And if I select apples, the selected index is 0 and then selected item's name is apples. So now you know how to use options buttons, and because I helped you, please do consider subscribing to this channel and hitting the thumbs up button. And also, if you would like to see more tutorials in the future, again, consider subscribing to the channel. If you have any thoughts, comments, or questions, also feel free to leave them down in the comments. And with that, we have come to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.